Hello, everybody. Welcome into another special episode of Around the Octagon. Today, we are joined by professional mixed martial artist holding an amateur record of 5-0 and a professional record of 2-0, with all 7 wins coming via way of submission out of Valley Flow, Victor the Constrictor Aguirre. Victor, thank you very much for joining us tonight. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Very happy you can join us tonight, man. So I guess we'll kind of jump into this a little bit. Would you mind telling us a little brief background about how you got into mixed martial arts and the story behind that?
Sorry, that cut out a bit. Just background, right?
Yeah, just general background about how you got into mixed martial arts.
Started when I was a kid. I was in elementary school, and my oldest brother Daniel had started wrestling, and me and my other 2 brothers, Nick and Mike, we just wanted to be just like Daniel, so we just joined a wrestling club. Same wrestling club ran by a guy who had an MMA gym. And Daniel, he started fighting there. And then again, we just wanted to be like older brothers. So we just started learning some grappling stuff. And yeah, from there, it was just, that's what we wanted to do, was just keep learning martial arts and just know how to fight.
So how old were you when you first started wrestling and whatnot?
I want to say I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, got and kind of along that line, Victor, how big of an influence was your brother Nick, especially? I know he's been in the UFC, he's had a couple fights. What was it like following along with his career, and how did that kind of inspire you? And I would imagine you want to have somewhat of a similar trajectory, possibly getting your own way into the UFC.
Yeah, Nick has a direct influence on me. I train with him every single day. I'm always with him. He's always giving me advice. He's always telling me what to do, and I just, listen to Big Brother. He's in my corner for every fight, and yeah, he thinks about my career so much more than I do. He's a very protective older brother, so he's basically got everything mapped out for me. I just kind of do what he says. Um, but yeah, having him around is awesome. It's good to have a big brother like Nick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, kind of somewhat along that line as well. We were when we were watching your fights. One thing that stood out to me, I'm like, oh my God, nobody can hang with this guy on the ground. Like he destroys everybody down there. And I was just wondering, was there before your amateur career, when you were kind of doing more so grappling, was there ever kind of like a light bulb moment for you where like, wow, like I can hang with these guys. I want to, transition into MMA. Was there ever kind of like a switch for you there that like, hey, I want to transition into more full on fighting?
It was always on the back of my mind, but it wasn't anything I was like seriously considering for like years. And then I'd say eventually, like after maybe a year and a half of competing in jiu-jitsu, I was just like, I kind of want to see how this works, like practically like in a fight. Like I had been training Muay Thai too, so I was like, kind of just think this would be a good move. And I like one person I was a huge fan of, like in the UFC, was Damian Maya, and I liked his whole approach to like he just wanted to see how good pure grappling could be in like a fight setting, and I thought that was so cool. I thought that was badass, and I was like, kind of want to do that with my grappling, just see like how good is it in like just a fight setting. Like, is my jujitsu legit, or is it like just sport jujitsu? Because I do think there's a huge difference between like grappling to like win a jiu-jitsu competition and like grappling to like win.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And kind of before we get directly into your fights, I wanted to know, and this is a general question I like to ask fighters in general, is there something in specific that you fight for?
I think most of it's like, I don't know. There's like a selfish part of it where like when I was in high school, I was like 230 like 30 pounds, like overweight. Um, Shortly after high school, I was working a warehouse job. I was depressed. Like, I just thought, like, this is where my life is. Like, this is just miserable, but this is just where I'm at. And there's a part of me that like does it for that fat bastard, and like is like, I'm doing it for him. I'm doing it for me. Like, I just want to be proud of myself. And then there's a part of it too where, you definitely want to make your coaches proud, your teammates proud, your family proud. And I always try to do it for them. Um, and then, of course, I have my son, and to him, I'm his hero, and he wants to see dad win every time. So there's like that extra push every time I'm in the gym, every time I'm working out or running. It's like, I always tell myself, like when I feel like quitting, I'm like, your son deserves to have a champion for a father. Like, so you better keep running, you better keep lifting, you better push, like, like don't give up.
Yeah, those are all great reasons, man. That's awesome. And kind of getting into it a little bit. So I know you fought for a few different promotions throughout your time thus far. I know you're fighting for the Anthony Pettis promotion and then the other promotion a couple weeks ago. So with that being said, what are your goals kind of for the immediate future about where you go next, and how do these regional scene fights kind of come to be?
Uh, that kind of filters through my big brother. Like Nick kind of tells me, like, hey, this seems to be the event. This seems to be the time and date. Like, what are you thinking? And I just say, yeah, if you think this is good, yeah, let's do it. And then it kind of just happens that way. So I don't really like give a whole lot of thought to it. I'm just kind of told who I'm fighting, and I know, like, let's do it. So even for whatever comes next, I'm sure I'll be the last one to know. Um, but yeah, I don't really have much like immediate goals. I just kind of take it one day at a time. So like, today it's just train, train and get better. And that's my goal tomorrow. And that'll be my goal every day until it's time to fight.
That's a good plan, man, because you get that groundwork laid out for you, and it's like, okay, I can take my mind off that and just focus on getting to work and getting better. I like that. I like that approach to things.
But yeah, like, just focus on getting better. I don't really have to worry about much else.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's awesome that you have that foundation too, because I know a lot of people are just kind of up in the air, especially on the when you're on the come up. But getting more into your actual fights, obviously your grappling, it seems to be out of this world. You've won every single one of your fights by submission, and watching your fights, you seem to chain submissions together so seamlessly and beautifully. It all almost seems kind of like a work of art, to be honest. Like, it just seems very effortless for you. Is part of that just your years in the game, so long doing it? What to you kind of seems to make you so versatile on the ground? Because looking at your fight history, you have wins by rear naked choke, clinch
That
triangle.
credit all goes to my jiu-jitsu coach,
Yeah,
Eric. He kind of has a very similar style where he's chaining submissions together like effortlessly. I watch Aaron compete all the time, and his like just way of grappling, kind of like what you had just said, which I appreciate that. Thank you. Aaron's grappling is very artistic. Like it's a very cool flow. I love watching it, and like that's what I kind of try to emulate. And that's kind of like the way he teaches, is that like it all flows together. And yeah, like when I'm grappling these guys in fights, it does feel like I can kind of hit a flow state a little bit easier, and then like everything just kind of chains together easy.
Following up on your submission skills and your finishing abilities, when in time did you pick up the nickname the Constrictor, and how did that come to be?
That sort of started when I was like a kid. I just had like a neighbor just like give me that nickname. Like he just thought it rhymed, and like I don't even know how old I was, but like then I was like, that's cool. I like that. So it actually had nothing to do with jujitsu or anything. It's just that's just a fun little coincidence. Um, and yeah, I was just like, I'm just gonna keep that. Like I like that.
Yeah, that works out well there.
yeah, that's. I mean, we all I had a couple nicknames growing up. None were that cool. So I wish they were like that. But kind of another thing that that stuck out to me while we're kind of on the subject. was, whether it's regional scene, UFC, pros, whatever. I notice, we all see kind of a lot of fighters get stuck in guard. And when we were watching your fights, I noticed that doesn't really seem to be an issue for you. You pass guard extremely well. And you never really seem to get stuck or just kind of, it never really seemed to be that much of an obstacle for you, as compared to a lot of other fighters that we might watch. Is there anything in particular that works for you really well in terms of passing guard in an actual MMA fight? Because you seem to do it incredibly well.
I do have like a lot of different ways of passing guard and like breaking guard, but I think a huge advantage I have is I'm totally fine staying in guard. I think sometimes people are in guard and they sort of like panic and like they're so like timid and like stiff that like they almost make it difficult for themselves to pass. Like I don't care. Like I'll stay in the guard. I'll hang out there. Like if someone throws up like a submission or something, I'm so confident that they're not going to finish me that like I just don't worry about it. I'm very calm in that position. So like I think that almost puts the pressure on the guy on bottom to like open guard and get the hell out of there. And then that's where I find a lot of my passes. But if I don't, like I know I can just force a pass. Like I know how to break the guard.
Yeah, absolutely. As you kind of, as well, as you kind of develop your career and rise up the ranks in the pro circuit, obviously, of course, the competition is going to increase, and I'm sure you're prepared for that. But are there any particular ways that you prepare for that, and are there any specific guys in the gym that particularly challenge you and kind of elevate you to that upper echelon level that you're going to need?
I don't think any like one singular particular person. I think it's just like the whole entire like VFS training room. I think once like you're in that room, it's almost impossible to not get better. So like when you're in that room and you're training like along all these people, you're doing the exact same thing they're doing. It's like, I mean, you're just gonna get better as a byproduct. So I'm too like not too worried about the development because I just know it's just happening every day. So as I get ready to fight like higher level opponents, and like they're not in the room I'm in. They're not in the same quality room I'm in. So I feel pretty confident with whoever's next.
So while on the topic of Valley Flow here, can you kind of touch on what it's like in the example that's set in that room by guys like Bilal? We just saw Ignacio Bahamondes fight last week. I know he's a fucking beast. You got Bilal in there. Shout out Mondo Gutierrez. He's the man. You got Mondo in there. Yeah, I know Yair used to train there. So can you just kind of touch about what it's like to be in the room with just killers and the example that's set there?
The biggest thing for everyone is just the high like output of work. Like we're always just working. Like we're always grinding. It's a very just like practice is rough. Like it's torture. Like sometimes like practice is absolutely just like it's like demoralizing sometimes. But then at the end of it, you're in the car and you're like, shit, if I could survive that, like I can survive 15 minutes, 25 minutes with anybody. Like if I can get through that, I can get through anything. And then when you're doing that like multiple times throughout the week, you're like, man, like this is levels above what other people are doing as far as like training. So um yeah, that's the biggest thing is just the culture is all about hard work. And I think that that shows in everyone's fights that you'll see in the UFC and even on the local scene.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're kind of starting to come to an end here. So we have a few fun questions we like to ask. And first one being, what would your dream fight be out of anyone of all time, fighter or non-fighter?
Oh man. This is gonna sound random, but like someone like Crone Gracie, that would be cool to like just fight someone that's that high level in grappling. Like I would love that. Like just to like grapple in a cage with that guy. Like that would be dope.
That's a good answer. And that's not one we've heard yet, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's a great one. Wow, that's actually a perfect answer. And for myself, actually, just because I know you're a absolute ace in jujitsu, so I've recently, me personally, I used to train a little jujitsu. I'm trying to recently kind of get back into it. And while you're here, I was just wondering if I could pick your brain a little bit. So one thing with me, because I'm big dumb meathead, I always used to get caught in triangles all the time, maybe because my delts were a little bigger, and it was the most frustrating thing in the world. I remember at the end of practice, sometimes I would just try and drill triangle escape stuff for like at least half an hour. So I was just wondering, for you, for somebody that's so great at jiu-jitsu, what if you had like a favorite triangle escape that you like to use? I mean, we know like my coach always used to say the best defense is to never get there at all. But is there something in particular that used to help you in those scenarios, maybe in the gym?
I think pretty much with any submission, like the whole like the worst thing you can do is like start to panic, like especially with chokes. So number one, you got to stay calm, and then you got to slow things down in your mind. And there are like a lot of different escapes to triangles. I'd say probably like the easiest one for me was always to just like stand up and like kind of get like one of my knees like underneath their tailbone and sit back. That usually breaks open the guard. But there's so many like different ways to get out of there. I mean, different strokes for different folks. Like a heavyweight's going to break that different than a lightweight. So, yeah, I think you kind of have to just find whatever is most comfortable with your body type.
Yeah, yeah, I got to keep working on it.
And then another fun one we kind of just like to ask everyone, and this one we hear different answers from everybody. If you could put together your own MMA Mount Rushmore, who are you throwing on there?
Ooh, I would say George St. Pierre's definitely got to be on there. Probably Jon Jones, Fedor, and for me, Sakuraba. But I know Sakuraba's probably not on a lot of people, but he's on mine.
That's a great answer. That is one we haven't heard. Absolutely.
Surprisingly enough, one name that I haven't heard on him too much is Mighty Mouse. And I thought a lot of people would have Mighty Mouse on there, but it seems he's always that like fifth, sixth guy for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's high up there, but yeah, he's probably my fifth guy there.
I think I have him as my fifth too, and I'm speaking on other people's lists, and it's the same way with mine. But lastly, the last question I really had for you is if you were trying to convince a friend to get into MMA who's never watched a sport before, what fight would you show them as their first fight to watch?
Oh, that's a really good question. Let's see. Any fight. The stereotypical one is, the Ultimate Fighter finale, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner. So I don't want to say that one, but that's a good one that's up there. I would show them like something where like the crowd really gets involved in it. I think that's probably the best way to go. So like something that has like a Conor McGregor or like some of the international shows when there's like a very passionate crowd, like Darren Till fighting in England comes to mind a lot. Gustafsson in Sweden. Like I think when the crowd's involved, that's when the sport's at its best.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I know another one that a lot of people throw around that I tend to agree with is that Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker fight, just because of how gruesome that was. So that's another one that comes to mind for me at least.
Yeah, that one's violent. And imagine how much better that'd be in front of a crowd.
Yeah, that's true, dude. If I was sitting there at MSG and just the crowd's going crazy and whatnot, that would have been nuts.
Yeah, that would have been the most viral sports moment of all time. Like that fight was nuts.
100%. But that's the last that I got on my end, Dan. I don't know if you have anything yourself over there.
Yeah, actually, while we have you on, Victor, I mean, obviously we know that Jon Jones just retired. What are your thoughts on the whole the whole situation with him and Tom Aspinall? I know everybody kind of has an opinion on this. I was just curious as to what yours was, if you had any.
I think his plan all along was to never fight Tom Aspinall. So I think he should have vacated and retired like a long time ago. Like, I mean, I think it's fair to that he wanted the Stipe fight. He wanted like a legacy fight. Like that's fair. He's earned that through his like years of hard work. But I think after that, he should have just been like, okay, now I'm done. Now I'm walking away. Like have the belt. But yeah, I think, it sucks for Tom because like he doesn't get to like take the belt from the champ. But I think most people would agree that right now he's the best heavyweight in the world. So I think the division's still fine. I think it moves on fine. I'm excited to see what Aspinall does next.
I'm excited to see that division finally moving again and some fights to get going. And I said I had nothing left, but this kind of just reminded me. So, Victor, what do you think they do next in that heavyweight division? Because there's Cyril Gahn sitting there, you got Volkov, and then really Jalton Almeida are the three names thrown around.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the Cyril Gahn fight would be really fun. We haven't seen that yet. I think that would be a cool one. I think Aspinall kind of walks through all of them though, but yeah, I think it'll be cool and just seeing them line up. I think Aspinall is going to kind of clear the division. It'll be exciting. In a perfect world, in a dream world, they throw Francis Ngannou a bag and they make that fight happen. But you know, you never. I mean, we'll see, but it probably won't happen.
As a fan, that would be heaven right there, because you're missing out on the best fight you can get with Jones Aspinall, and it gets replaced with something that's just as good almost. So
Okay, at
a
least we
fan can
got
dream.
something, right? So, but
Yeah.
Fan can dream. But yeah, Victor, I just wanted to say thank you again for joining us today. And I just last question for you: is there anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
Not much. Just to all your viewers, just give me a follow on Instagram, Victor the Constrictor 160. Kind of follow my journey. I am looking for sponsors right now, so that'll help me out get through training. Kind of afford all the supplements and like diet stuff I need. And I am looking for jiu-jitsu competitions. So if anyone wants to like set me up with a super fight, I got nothing going on. I'm kind of bored. So give me something to do.
Definitely, you heard the man. Give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again for joining us, Victor. It's been a pleasure, man.
thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you guys.
appreciated this.
Appreciate it.